What is going on, Angels? Today is a great day in Chivalry 2 for a lot of reasons. The patch notes for patch 2.8, they just dropped, and there's some exciting stuff coming to Chivalry 2. Now, some of the stuff we knew about, like the new weapon and maps, but the patch actually has a lot more to it than just the features the developers have been leaking for the last month. These are actually the longest patch notes Chivalry 2 has ever released. I'm Strider the Champ, and today I'm going to give you guys all the important features and gameplay adjustments, along with some analysis on patch 2.8 and how it can change the game. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe. Now, I'm going to hop around the notes a bit in my video since I think they could have probably been organized a bit better, but let's start up top with a huge announcement. Chivalry 2 will be releasing on PlayStation Plus for the month of May, and this is huge because while it might not have the reach of Xbox Game Pass, a massive audience of casual gamers will get the chance to try out the game and enter the medieval slasher genre. We just saw how successful Mordhau releasing free for a week on Epic was, so this is it's great news. The more people we convert to the genre, the better, and having healthy populations on both of the popular medieval slashers, it just creates a nice competition that's good for the genre. Now, the biggest part of this patch to me is the release of true crossplay parties. I've spoken about this topic since the game released, and better late than never. While I don't see this really bringing people back to the game, for me, just being able to play with some of my friends on my Discord community, it's just so huge. And it's a big win for the developers being able to fulfill a promise and build some trust back with the community. Now, the feature, it's in a beta mode, which the developers made very clear, and that means that things might not always work. It's kind of scary to hear, but I'm happy to at least see significant progress on the feature, and let's hope it works to an acceptable degree. Now, we will be getting the customary battle pass, and yes, I refuse to call it a campaign pass. Let's not get cute. It's a freaking battle pass. 10 levels for free, 30 levels in total. I guess it'll cost you $9.99. And just as we speculated, there's going to be a significant focus in the Battle Pass on adding Tenosian cosmetics, which we really needed. We have 8 Tenosian sets of armor coming. Let's hope this adds a little more uniqueness to each player when on the Tenosia-themed maps. We'll also finally be getting the community-chosen cosmetics for the halberd and war axe, along with some Tenosian-themed daggers, bows, and shields. Now, on the topic of cosmetics, there's a long list of fixes and additions to cosmetics in general, but I think the big announcement is those open helmet variants we've seen in the developer's art finally have made it to the game, as we're getting 4 open-helmed variants. Now, I've dedicated multiple videos to the topic of the new map and weapon coming to Chivalry 2, but if you're new here, we'll be receiving the sacking of Bridgetown, where Tenosia crosses the ocean to wage war on Agatha. What I have seen so far, it looks amazing, and I'm really excited to play it. Now, our new weapon, the heavy cavalry sword, I have concerns here. A weapon that specializes in mounted combat, it seems really niche, and it'll only be really viable for a small portion of your game time, but time will tell. Visually, it does look amazing. And now, before we get into weapon nerfs and changes, we have one last bit of content. Now, on my podcast, we've roasted developers for the limited time events. The only new game mode we got is Volley, which even archers hate, but we're getting a limited time mounted combat arena. The devs, they love their horses, but hey, I'll give it a shot before I pass any judgment. Now, let's talk about combat and weapon changes. For starts, they made some adjustments to parry boxes, and these changes are designed to counteract super late stab drags. Yes, this will be a slight nerf to my longsword, but it seems some stab drags that are supposed to be blocked are able to just kind of wiggle past the parry box when done at the last second, so this should be a mild nerf for the longsword and the spears. Now, the jab meta also received some adjustments. However, I think this is really more for competitive dueling, as jab spamming, it's just horrible to watch and play against, and the developers, they made some adjustments so that players can kind of footwork and better deal with people who are jabbing nonstop. Probably the strongest blunt weapon in the game has been the heavy mace for the last patch. Not only is it just really good in general, but it does insane stamina damage, which against good players is super important, and the stamina damage has been toned down from 20% to 10%. This should close the gap between the heavy mace and its rival, the two-handed hammer. Now, it seems it was stamina damage nerf season, as the poleaxe and quarterstaff also received this exact same nerf. The quarterstaff, it's just so jank in 1v1, it'll probably still need some more adjustments to fine-tune it and make it a little bit more acceptable. Let's now get to the Qatars, which have been universally regarded as complete trash, and they'll now be receiving a buff to sprint attack from 30 to 60. Expect a lot of backstab damage leapers, as this might become a more viable playstyle in public lobbies. However, for any serious plays, unless it flinches on hits, it will never be viable. Now let's talk about a few last adjustments. Takedowns, you usually have to do 50 damage. Now you only have to do 25. I'm going to guess this was so that noobs and archers, they feel like they're contributing more to the game. But for me, I guess now we'll be going for 200 bombs, as it's going to be even easier. The devs also added a bonus XP boost for players who win while playing on defense. This is to try to counteract team swapping, but I foresee this as having zero impact on the issue, as any cuck who swaps teams every round, they're not going to give the slightest damn about possibly getting a little bit of extra experience points. And now, bad news for the people who like to pick up the flame chicken and set their friendly archers on fire. Apparently, you're not going to be able to do this anymore, but they did say they fixed this once before, and they didn't, so we will see. Now, the patch notes are pretty in-depth, but the rest is really just performance improvements and removing long-standing bugs, which we needed. I'll link them down below if anyone wants to dive into the details, but it's just more working on fixing the foundation of the game, which we love to see. Alright guys, that's it for me. Enjoy the update coming May 1st. Champ out.